communication studies as an academic discourse in Sri Lanka. Okay, so far we discussed how media studies, communication studies became an academic discourse in the world, right? And this is how now on we are going to discuss how this was implemented and how this has been developing since the very beginning up to now as an academic discourse in Sri Lanka, right? Okay, this is how communication studies was introduced to Sri Lanka. This is just a story and there's no logic here. You just want to read this, okay? The discourse of communication studies was started in Sri Lanka as journalism, right? Journalism means, now in English this doesn't matter, but in Sinhala, journalism means පුවත්පත් කලාවේදය, right? පත්තරයට ලියන එක තමයි journalism කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ මුලදී අර්ථ දැක්ුවේ. පුවත්පත් කලාවේදය කියලා course එක. ඒ කාලේ කියන්නේ 1969 to 1968 කියන කාලයේ දෙහිවල Junior University එකේ at දෙහිවල Junior University, the scholars tend to study a discourse of communication studies, not exact communication studies, but a part of communication studies as journalism. But that course or something like that doesn't prevail more than a year. And that curriculum was developed and prepared by late Dr. Edwin Aryadasa. ඔයාත් ව්‍යානංගය ගැන Dr. Edwin Aryadasa ගිය අවුරුද්ද තමයි නැති වුණේ. ඒ අවුරුද්දේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ මුල වගේ සර් නැති වුණේ. එයා තමා මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක ලංකාවට ඉම්ප්ලිමන්ට් කරේ, not as communication studies but as journalism, right? And ඒ කාලේ the late minister IMR Iriyagolla, who was the education minister by then, he took the initiative steps to initiate communication studies as an academic subject in Sri Lanka on par with Dr. Edwin Aryadasa, right? After 1971 uprisings, I think you are aware of මම හිතන්නේ 1971 කාලේ ඇති වෙච්ච තරුණ අරගල ගැන යම් දැනුමක් ඔයාට ඇති. You or me or අපි ඒ කාලේ ජීවත් වුණේ නැහැ, but we have get some things. Yeah, we have heard about that. No? So after the uprising, the government needed to start vocational courses, right? Because after completing that particular degree or diploma or certificate, the students are guided to direct career, right? They are directed to vocational training. After that, such courses were demanded by Sri Lankan government for the youth, right? So as a result, in 1973, the Department of Communication Studies was established in University of Kelaniya, right? And that was the very first step that was taken in Sri Lanka to study communication studies as communication studies, because in 1968 and 1969 it was implemented as journalism now, and journalism is not completely communication studies, right? Communication studies was implemented in 1973 after the educational reformation that has been done after 1971 uprising in University of Kelaniya, right? And then pioneers of starting the Department of Communication Studies in University of Kelaniya was the Professor Vimal Disanayaka. He's still with us. Professor Sunanda Mahendra, pioneers of our subjects, and Professor Sarachandra Edrivira and Edrivira Sarachandra, whatever. Dr. Edwin Aryadasa and D.C. Ranatunga. They were the pioneers, right? Just to know. And in 1972, it started diploma, right? When as same as in the time where the Department of Communication Studies established in University of Kelaniya, by the same time in 1972, it started to develop a diploma in your in journalism at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Okay, and that diploma also didn't last for a year. එකත් අවුරුද්දකින් විතර ඒක නතර කරලා දැම්මා. ඒක continue වුණේ නැහැ. And in 60s, okay, in 60s, the radio, this is about the professional education. In 16th, the radio service, right? By then, Radio Service of Sri Lanka was not called as the Sri Lankan Broadcasting Corporation or something like that. It was called as the Radio Service. ගුවන්විදුලි සේවය කියලා කිව්වේ. And the Lake House, right? Radio Service and Lake House started and conducted training courses for professional journalists. ඒ කාලේ හිටපු වෘත්තීය පුවත්පත් කලාවේදියන්ට training courses කරා radio service එකෙන් සහ Lake House එකෙන්, right? After that, the first subject for the very first time was implemented for grade 10 and grade 11 in 2006 and 2007 respectively for grade 10 and 11. And it also has been included as a subject in A-level stream in 2008.